Alright folks, I want to make one last video here. Put on these lights in here. About this TDI, the clutch change on this TDI. Or timing belt and clutch change. Alright. Your previous videos, you saw that pile of junk there. What I wound up doing was I did change the timing belt on one end. When I went to change the oil pan, my tow driver broke. Here it is right here. You probably can't see it, but there's a heck of a crack right across here. You can see where the stinger from the tow truck came right in here and dinged the oil pan right here and cracked this oil pan. Now, I might have been able to get it fixed, but you can get these on eBay now for about 40 bucks, so there's no reason to do that. Now, what happened, horror story is typical for me. When I went to take this oil pan out, two of these bolts right here are absolutely impossible to get out without special tools. Well, I got a tool to do that with, a little short 5mm, or I'm sorry, a 10mm swivel socket to get in there. And those bolts actually thread into this thing here. This is your main seal, your crankshaft main seal for the engine. And you can see when I took it out, it pulled the insert out of this end. Now, I'm the only guy in the world that's got luck like this. So, and this is one of the 2 years that Volkswagen used this plastic piece of crap in there instead of one made out of aluminum. So I got the timing belt in, got it all together, and I went to change the oil pan and found this main seal broken, or I broke it on getting it out. There's no way you could get it out without breaking it. So that necessitates, without a doubt, pulling the transmission and the clutch and then the flywheel and getting all that stuff out of the way before you can even get to this, okay? So you're going to have to separate the engine from the transmission. I didn't know if it would be easier to pull the engine or pull the transmission, but I elected to pull the transmission. So, and I've done this 100 times before on the A1 cars and the A2 cars, but I've never pulled the transmission on an A4. And the transmission in this car, trust me, weighs more than twice as much as it does on the earlier cars. Which means you got to use this pig, okay? Which I store this in a shed behind my house. I don't keep it here in the garage. I don't use it very often. Which means I got to lug this heavy son of a buck up here so I can pull that transmission out. And there's no way to do it without it. If you had the special VW stuff, the bar that goes across the fenders, you could probably maybe get it done. But for the average guy like us, you're not going to get it. So I looked to pull the transmission, and then when I pull the transmission and pull the clutch, I found out this car this year has a dual mass flywheel. And this is kind of interesting, not from a paycheck point of view. There's the throttle bearing. It's still smooth. It looks worn, but it's still smooth. There's the pressure plate, which is very, very odd. I've never seen one like it. But this is where it gets interesting. Look at this. Here's the disc. It has no tension springs in it. None. Just all built together. All one piece, kind of like a racing clutch. And you're like, what in the world's with that? Well, it turns out, instead of putting springs in the disc, they have two sections of the flywheel. And these do actually turn against each other. This one is loose from this outside one. And that's why they call this a dual mass flywheel. Now the flywheel is in good shape. The clutch disc is hardly worn. And I thought, well, I'll just toss this back in there. I mean, look at that disc. It ain't even hardly... I'll say one thing for the wife. She's not hard on equipment. Look at that. It's got about 185,000 miles on it. Man, that disc looks like it's brand new. So she ain't tearing up equipment, that's for sure. And then I got to reading on the internet, which maybe you should or shouldn't do. These dual mass flywheels have a habit of failing a lot. So while I had it out, I sprung $500 or whatever it was for a different type of a clutch, a conversion clutch. that uses a standard flywheel, a clutch disc that has the standard tension springs in it, and a normal pressure plate. Swear to God, it looked like it came out of a Chevy. So I mean, apparently that's the end of that. So let's recap for those of us just paying attention. Here's the crankshaft seal. Okay, cost $1.50. Okay, I didn't change it, and I should have. It leaked, and because it leaked, the serpentine belt failed. When the serpentine belt failed, I had the car towed. When the car got towed, it broke the oil pan. When I changed the oil pan, it broke the rear main seal, requiring a new clutch. And of course a new seal, but this seal only cost nothing. So we can see that all this comes down to this $2 or $3 seal here. Had I just changed this seal the first time, I never would have had to go back, or at least not for a long time. Would have never gone back to have to do those stuff. So altogether, with on the passenger side of the engine doing the timing belt, motor mounts, and all that crap, and on the driver's side changing the clutch, and the stuff on that side needed to be changed. You know, I'm upwards of $1,500 in parts in 4 days out of my life. Well, there it is. It's back in service. The wife's driving back and forth to work. It gets 51 miles to the gallon. All of this plastic aerodynamic panels that go underneath the car, they're pretty tore up. They're not very expensive, so I'll probably replace all of this stuff. The inner fenders also, they need to be replaced. They get worn off from the tires. So this is going to be the end of this video on this particular car. As you can tell here, I've been working on my A1 a little bit, steering rack and drive lines on it. Anyway, before I leave, I want to tell you one more thing. At the parts store, I needed some brake cleaner. They didn't have any of their red stuff. They had this green stuff, 50 state formula. I don't know what's in here, but it's absolutely useless. It doesn't do anything. I don't know if this is actually Evian, or maybe it's some kind of distilled water, or something they make out of snowflakes in California. But whatever it is, it's not cleaner, okay? Do not waste your money buying this 50 state formula crap, okay? What does work is the red can. I suggest you buy this by the case, because you know that someday they're just going to outlaw the good stuff, and this is all we're going to be able to get, is this 50 state non-chlorinated crap, which doesn't work at all. Alright, I think that's wraps up this project. I'll upload these videos one right after the other so that they'll all be available at the same time. And what a horror story, man. But on the other hand, the car's got 185,000 miles on it. It's got a brand new timing belt, brand new clutch, a bunch of new parts. Those brand new Michelins, I just put them on. Those are 90,000 mile tires. I just put inner and outer tie rod ends on it. So it had a line, so it should be good to go. It's got new brakes. So it's a reliable old car, man. Then goes and goes and goes. Keeps my wife and kids safe. So anyway, I am out of here for the time being. Later.